Hey, I'm Eric Rokeach with FitnessBusinessInterviews.com, and I'm here today with the talented and amazing Rachel Cosgrove. Now, Rachel is the co-owner, along with her husband Alwyn, of Results Fitness, which has been voted one of the top 10 gyms in the U.S. by Men's Health magazine. Not only that, but she's a best-selling author, and she's also considered one of the top business minds and mentors that fitness pros turn to for help when it comes to building their businesses. So, Rachel, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your wisdom with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, so first question, just like to find out a little background information. How'd you get started in the industry?
Okay, I started really with a dance background growing up, and my dad actually took me to the gym for the first time, so I have to give him credit. He's one of the ones that got me introduced to the gym. I used to go with him, and I used to lift the light weights for lots of repetitions because I didn't want to get big and bulky, and then do some time on the cardio while he would lift weights. And so obviously my philosophies have changed a little bit over that time. And, as I got into the gym and got into, how it was changing my body and really learning, I had moved to New York City, and I became a trainer in New York City, and I was independent. Worked at a couple different gyms. That's where I met my husband, Rachel Cosgrove, and he was actually very influential. He had already been studying a lot of the people in the industry. I had my degree in physiology. I skipped that part. I went to school for physiology, got my degree in physiology at UC Santa Barbara, and then I moved to New York to be a trainer in New York, along with on a dance scholarship and doing some dancing there as well. And so Alan introduced me to a lot of the, basically it's kind of like you get your degree and you think, oh, I got it, I know everything, now I can go train people. Certification degree, that's all I need to know, right? And so he really opened up my eyes to how much more was out there, and really, he and I, as we met each other, and then we started to really, have that quest for knowledge and start to learn, start to, host seminars, start to read every book we could, and really start to become, the best we could as trainers. And shortly after, we moved to California, and we realized we were extremely frustrated with really, what was out there in our area. When we kind of sat down and wrote down our top frustrations, it really had to do with the gyms we were working at, a couple different corporate gyms, and how we could offer something different, something better, something that's unique for, the people who are out there that need fitness and really just up the standards in our industry. And so that's when we decided to open Results Fitness, and that was now over 11 years ago. And really, when we opened it, we had no idea how to run a business. We were trainers who, like I said, we had studied everything, learned everything, really, worked hard to become really good at training people. And we thought, well, gosh, we know how to get people in shape. We'll just open our doors and get people in shape, and they'll show up. And, those of you who have opened a gym know, you quickly learn you have to learn how to run a business. And so we kind of shifted gears, and, the same attitude we took towards becoming the best trainers we could become, we started to learn more about running a business, how to set up systems, started to get mentored by people like Thomas Plummer, and, just read every book, go to every seminar we could on running our business. And so at this point, we have really, if I don't say so myself, I think it's the best gym there is, and a great team who, runs it for us. And, our system's all in place. We get, great results. We have over 300 members at this point. And so, so at this point, we do a lot of business coaching with trainers, helping them basically, if they're in the point we were at 11 years ago, we help them get to where we are faster. And so, it's a lot of fun because we wish we had somebody like us back 11 years ago who could lead us through the minefield. But so that's the story.
Okay, that's great. You hit a lot of really cool points in there. What I'll do is I'm going to kind of just break it down so we can kind of figure out how you got through each level in each step. Now, you talked about you got started. Your dad kind of helped you getting into the industry and get you motivated with it. When you really got into it, was it something you always knew that you wanted to do, was to be in the fitness industry?
Well, I always enjoyed being active. Like I said, I did have a dance background, so I did have dreams of being a dancer on Broadway, and that was actually part of the reason I moved to New York. I actually worked at a few different shows, dancing professionally, and I kind of had that in the back of my mind, but I was going to get my degree in physiology because I also had a fascination with the human body, with how it worked, how you could put a demand on it, and it changed, and I knew that I was also, very interested in that. And so really, I think I didn't realize, I guess, that being a trainer, was a career. I think a lot of people don't. And because not too many people are successful at making it, a career that you can actually, support yourself on. And it's usually for most people kind of I'm going to, pursue my dance career and I'll be a trainer on the side, which was kind of, I'll admit it, that's what I was doing. And, but, as I got hooked into personal training and realizing that, it was what I was meant to do, it was what I was good at, and that I could help so many people, and that really that's where I got pulled, in that direction. And I got into fitness competitions and things like that. And, like, no, did I grow up going, I want to grow up and be a personal trainer? No, I mean, we all know, when you tell your parents you're going to be a personal trainer, they're like, oh, okay. Like, they're hoping you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, but all right. But yeah, it's, so, over that time, it's pretty neat to look back and think, gosh, I didn't realize that you could build such a successful career. And at this point, like I said, Alan and I do live the life we want to live. We have a gym that runs itself. We don't have to be there. We really, have been able to build the life that we want with being personal trainers, which, it's a pretty amazing job to be able to help, so many different people, and at the same time be able to support yourself.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Now, you were an independent trainer in New York, and you said that's where you met Alwyn. How long were you in New York doing the training as an independent trainer?
I was there 2 years. So okay. I lasted 2 years in New York. I'm a California girl through and through.
Okay.
We live in California now, so.
All right. Now, at what point was it you said you'd met Alwyn where you decided, okay, let's move back to California and maybe let's do our own thing?
Well, like I said, I was living in New York for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, I had gotten myself into some debt. I had, like a lot of people think, oh gosh, I didn't realize that you were ever at a point where you didn't have any money. I had minus money. And I was, New York is a great place. I love New York City, but I got to the point where, I just was ready to go back to California. And so basically, Alan and I had met in New York. I decided, I need to go back to California, kind of resort myself out, get myself figure out what I want to do next. And, but at that time, yes, we were together, and he wanted to go back to Scotland. So he actually went to Scotland, where he's from, and I came back to California. So we actually went opposite ways and, did the long distance thing for a period of time. Didn't last long doing long distance. I flew there pretty quickly. We got engaged and decided that in our industry, Scotland and the UK weren't really ready for us yet.
Right.
And thankfully, because everything worked out great in California, but he was actually pursuing, things there while he was there. I was pursuing things in California. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of like whatever worked out where, wherever we felt that we would best, be able to build our career. That's where we were going to go. And so he came to California. He loved California. So we ended up staying in California.
Okay. And where did the idea come from to open up Results Fitness?
Well, at that point, so like I said, we were both basically, not a whole lot of money, not a whole lot of resources, working at, I was working at 4 or 5 different gyms, and he started working at one gym when he moved here. And so, I was doing the trainer thing, in-home visits, Gold's Gym, Total Woman, I had all these different gyms I was working at. I learned, the cool thing is that we're able to take from every gym we've worked at, like the things we liked and the things we hated, because I have worked at a lot of different gyms. And so at that point, we both just kind of looked at each other and thought, you know what, like, this is not our long-term plan. We can't do this, 5 years from now, we can't keep going down this road. And really just looking around at the other trainers that were around us and realizing, like, nobody around us was really, pushing us, or we really felt comfortable to, I apologize, my phone's ringing. Okay. We really felt comfortable to, hand our clients off to, or anything like that. So, it really just was a matter of us, really frustrated, and looking for those, things that are, looking for those things that are, that how can we get, rid of these frustrations? And our top frustrations had to do with the gyms we worked at. Now, when we opened our own gym, absolutely, there was a whole other list of frustrations that came up, Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that, you leave, one set of frustrations and you take on a whole, another set that you didn't even think about. But at the same time, that's what we wanted to do. Okay. And so, it's really just about us, naively opening a business, not really knowing how to run a business, but
okay. And you were running around, like you said, being a trainer at all the gyms, doing the training thing. Did you guys have money put away to open up your own place, or did you have to ask for friends or get a loan out to get it started?
No, we literally, we like, looking back, I'm like, I don't know how we did this, but I don't even know how the landlord gave us the spot, but we literally had nothing. Our business plan was, if our clients follow us, if we have some clients that leave the gym we're at and follow us, that money that the cut that we were giving to the gym was going to pay our rent at the facility. And that was like the business plan. Like, okay, we'll basically keep training the same amount of clients. Hopefully they'll show up. Hopefully they'll follow us. And, we'll cut that, make that cut to the rent instead of that was our whole idea. We didn't realize there was a lot of other costs that go into it, but so that was the business plan. We opened our doors really with power blocks that Alan had gotten for a birthday present, a Swiss ball. We had the basics. Like, it was very basic, and our clients had some of the hardest workouts they've ever had. Our poor clients that first week we were open, because we were so determined to show them that this was just as good as any place else. They were like, okay, you need to calm down because we get it. But yeah, we really opened with very minimum amount of, stuff. And we were living in an apartment at the time, which about a month or two after we opened got broken into, and our one laptop that we had got stolen, which had all of our programs on it and everything. So, it's funny. People like see us and they go, oh yeah, you guys are so lucky. And we're like, it's not luck, really looking back, we didn't really have many resources. All the money we were making, we just reinvested back into the gym. So, we made a wish list, and we'd buy equipment every month, and we would just reinvest back into the gym, and, learned how to run a business, and slowly built the business over time. And yeah.
How big was the original space that you got?
It was 1,250 square feet. So the training floor was actually only about probably 600 or 700 square feet, because it actually had a big office, but we literally just moved in. Like, we didn't do any build out or anything. It was a Taekwondo studio before, so we just used it as is. Yeah.
Now, when you got the business up and you were starting it, how did you determine what the roles were going to be for you and for Alan?
Yeah, and that is important, especially when you work with your husband or with a partner even. To sit down and figure out, what are you going to do and what am I going to do? And, we really just sat down and divvied it up. He took on the programming side of it pretty quickly. I was doing the nutrition side of it. And then, when we realized we needed to learn the business side of it, I started taking on, I was the first one to go to a Thomas Plummer seminar and came back with all these new ideas. So I kind of took on a lot of the human resources and bookkeeping and all of that stuff as I was learning that stuff. I like Excel spreadsheets and I like numbers, so I did good at that stuff. And he's an ideas guy, so he'll come out with ideas. So we work great as a team, because he'll come up with ideas, and I'm good at implementing and getting the Excel spreadsheet out and figuring out the numbers and making sure it works. Right. And but absolutely, one of you needs to be in charge of marketing. One of you needs to be in charge of everybody needs to have their own roles, because otherwise you kind of get in each other's way, and that is important.
Now, what did you do to bring in your first clients? Now, you said you brought some from where you were training before, but once you had that core group, what did you start to do to try and bring in more clients from there?
Sure. We actually we have a coaching group now that we do business coaching with, and I've written out a step-by-step grand opening checklist, which is really about what we call GIFT, getting in front of them. Finding opportunities in your area that you can get in front of people and really connect with people. I think a lot of trainers make the mistake of spending money on direct mail, which direct mail works, and I absolutely believe that you should put some money towards marketing. But the problem is you can't just spend that money, get direct mail out and then sit in your gym and go, okay, where are they? You have to get out and get people. And so that's one of the main things is, we had a big grand opening party. We were out and about in town and just meeting people. A lot of our clients referrals, obviously, that should be your number one source of clients. If you're not getting referrals, then you really need to take a look at your programming, your results, your customer service. Like, why aren't your clients telling other people about you? Because that should be your number one source of clients is referrals. And so really a lot of our clients did bring friends. They really wanted to see us succeed, and we're excited for us. And we held a big grand opening party, and that first grand opening party we did have quite a few people show up, and our schedules filled up pretty fast. So
okay. And what was the business model like? Was it a membership based thing like a gym? Were you doing personal training? What was being offered?
No, we made every mistake in the book, which there's actually a book called The 55 Strategies of Fitness Business Success. Yep. It should be called The 55 Mistakes, because that book, if you go through that book and read anything and don't do it, you're you'll save yourself so much money, because one of the things we did was we did one-on-one training. We did where they paid for packages of sessions. So they would basically buy 10 sessions, at a time, just like most trainers do. And, I would train one person, Alwyn would train one person, and then, pretty soon you're full at your peak hours with just the two of you. You're not making the money you want. So, but we better hire somebody. So you hire a trainer, they train one person. You hire another trainer, they train one person. Here, pretty soon you got 8 people in 700 square feet, and nobody's making the money they want, right? You're just like, okay, we're full. What now? And so that's where we started to realize, what, semi-private training is where it's at. Like, you guys all go home. I got these 3 people. I can handle it. And, in a small place like that. And so now at this point, we only do semi-private training. We no longer do private training. We actually got better results when we switched to semi-private. Our clients love it because they don't want you to stand there staring at them the entire set. The trainers love it because they can actually make more money. We can actually charge our clients a little less money. And then the other thing that we did, so we switched to membership, which is basically putting our clients onto a monthly receivables where we bill them every single month. They sign an annual agreement, and it includes a gym membership. When we first opened, we thought it was cool that our clients were going to other gyms and, wearing our T-shirts. And then we realized, wait a minute, that means they're giving another gym money. So we want them to be, we want this to be their gym. We want our culture to be that this is your place, this is where you come. And so we started to include that they could also come in and use the gym on their own, on their off days, or if they wanted to, do whatever that, they wanted to come in and do an extra workout on their own instead of going to a different gym. And so that really changed our culture, changed the way, we ran our business. And the biggest thing that changed our life was that getting a receivables in place. Every trainer needs to start to build that receivable income so that you know what's coming in every month. You have that to count on. You don't have to ask your client for a check every 10 sessions.
Right.
We've had those times in our business where, the client owes us, a big check for 10 sessions and the rent's due, and, we're waiting for the client to come in, like, when's he bringing the check? When's he bringing the check? And, the client comes in with the check and says to Alwyn, if you could just sit on that for as long as you can. Meanwhile, I'm like waiting to go to the bank to make sure it gets in before the clears. And Alan's like, we'll sit on it as long as we can. Literally, we can't. And so hands it to me. I'm out the back door, run into the bank. And I mean, we've been there. So we know how it feels to be where there's basically, you're trying to just make ends meet. And so to get that receivables in place and build that to where, every month it starts to build and you have, $5,000 guaranteed a month, $10,000 guaranteed a month, 20, and so it keeps building every month until, gosh, that just makes you sleep at night. Like, now you can focus on training your clients, writing good programs, getting results. They're committed to you for a year. You have the income coming in. So it completely changes your whole business and your whole life. And that was a huge switch for us that I recommend every trainer. If you're currently doing session packages, switch to a receivable base. And if you're currently doing one-on-one, switch to semi-private.
You talked about big changes, and then you had mentioned Thomas Plummer before. How important was he for you guys, and what types of changes did he bring upon your business?
He was very influential on us. Everybody needs a coach, and he was one of our coaches. We've always looked for people who have been there, done that, and really still doing it. That's what we look for. It's not necessarily people who have been there and done that and are telling you what used to work. It's what works now, because this industry is changing so quickly. And Thomas Plummer works with a lot of bigger gyms. So when we first started going to his seminars, he actually hated personal trainers. And so it was very much like, I hate personal trainers. And, I was kind of sitting in the audience with my arms crossed, like, well, we're different, Right. And so, and he now obviously we're very good friends with him, and we work together very closely with him because he's seen us take a lot of what he teaches and really apply it to a personal training setting, and start to really take his ideas and things that he teaches for bigger, thousands and thousands square foot clubs and put it into a 4,000 square foot club and make it work. And what he now believes is that our industry is, going towards the smaller clubs, which a lot of people, are realizing that people are kind of done with the big box gyms. They want the customer service, they want the training, they want someone to tell them, how to do it, especially with all of the new, with functional training and with, it's no longer sit on a machine and work in one plane of motion. Like now it's, people need help. They need to, which is great because this is where the industry really needed to go. So I think we're set up in a great place as trainers to really, this next, 5 to 10 years, I think is going to be a hugely successful, time for us. because it is where the industry is going. And that's, something that Thomas Plummer has, he's come around to our way. He likes trainers again. and you do see him at, some of the Perform Better events and things. And we've worked very closely with him. Having a coach is something that everybody should have. You always need those outside eyes looking into your business, telling you, which way to go, really, it's just like a coach, just like we coach our clients, and we're their outside eyes looking in saying, okay, you need to do this with your diet, or you need to come in one extra session, or whatever it is. It's the same thing with your business. It's, you're in the middle of it, you're there every day, and it's hard for you to see. And so you need that coach to kind of looking outside in, say, okay, you know what, you need to work on this a little bit, or you need to work on that a little bit. So.
Okay. Now, this is a random question for you, but it'll tie in and it'll make sense in a second. I know a few years back that you competed and completed one of the Ironmans. And I know that's like a full-time job to train for. How were you able to train for that and then at the same time make sure that the business keeps on going?
Yeah, well, the great thing was when we first opened our business and started to realize we needed to learn how to run a business, we quickly wanted to set up our business so that it didn't depend on us. That's what we realized, that we didn't want a job. A lot of people think they have a business, but they actually have a job because they have to show up every day to get paid, and that's a job. With probably a lunatic boss yourself. Right. We wanted to get to the point where, it didn't depend on us. It was a business. And so we set up systems and we got everything in place. And in our head, it was going to be, we'd be able to travel or train for Ironmans or things like that. But unfortunately, Alan was actually diagnosed with cancer. Right. And so we went through, basically 5 years of him, beating cancer. He was diagnosed the first time, went through chemotherapy. It came back the next year aggressively. It was stage 4. He went through a stem cell transplant and, fought for his life. And so that was a tough time. But during that time, the nice thing was he and I were able to step out of the business, and the business actually grew during that time. And so when it was over, when, he was in remission and we were through it and everything was, basically behind us, we just okay, let's get back in the gym and see, is it still open? Right. And the great thing is that we did get to still, we collected a salary that entire time he was fighting, cancer. And the gym stayed open, the gym grew. And so basically when we got back and, started, he's in remission and we kind of just taking a deep breath, we kind of went, you know what? Let's take a year off. Like, the gym's good. We're good. Like, let's just relax for a year and enjoy ourselves. And so at that point, some friends of mine were doing an Ironman. And so I ended up getting, hooked in. I was like, well, it's a perfect year for me to do this. I'm not planning to really work this year. And so he and I really just took the year, 2007, we just took it off and recovered from, what we had been through. But at the same time, for me, I decided to set myself the goal of doing the Ironman. And so you're right. I was able to, it is a full-time job. Yeah. Training for an Ironman is like, never say never, but it's something that you definitely have to have tunnel vision and, and I don't know, there are a lot of people that do it while they have a full-time job. Yeah. I don't know how they do it because, I was lucky. I was able to do it, to train for it and, really just use the gym to do my workouts in and, high five the team. And so it was pretty awesome.
Right. Now that all worked because you had the systems in place. You said you weren't there. Everything was flowing correctly. So could you just, I guess, maybe mention some of the systems that you have so people could hear the things that you have that other people can run and you don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the main systems that we have in place that's different from most people in the industry is our program design system. We have a separate program design department who writes the programming for our clients. So, basically, it started off as it was Alwyn writing all the programs. And, as we hired trainers, we hired non-traditional trainers who, they weren't the trainers who had their master's degree and their CSCS and, were set in their ways. It was more, trainers who were really just, maybe getting into the industry, maybe just got their certification, kind of just getting started. And so we could really look for people who we could mold, and could basically become part of our system. And so initially when we hire a trainer, they don't write the programs at all. They learn the functional movement screen, which is part of our system, the Gray Cook's functional movement screen, and which is, they can easily learn that system, take a new client through the functional movement screen and hand that functional movement screen along with, health history and the other things that they cover in the initial evaluation off to, our program design team, which, like when we first started, it was Alan. And basically Alan would get that, he has a picture of the client, he has all the information he needs, he has a functional movement screen, and he can design the program. And so at this point, we have it set up on, where it's a system where I know that if a client walks into my gym right now, I know they're going to get exactly what they would get, probably better than they would get if I were standing there working with them. Because, we have this system in place. And so the program they're going to get, because at this point we have Mike Wunsch and Craig Rasmussen, who are our program design team. Mm-hmm. And the great thing is that as Alan and I have become more and more focused on business and running our business and being the best at, learning how to and coaching people on running the business side of it, they've been able to get, that tunnel vision focus and just become the best at program design. And that's what we've told them is, hey, you guys, you go to every seminar, you read every book, and we just need to be the best in our industry at designing programs. And as long as we know our team are the best there is, then, and at this point there, Alan and I will tell you, like, we would rather them write the program than us write the program because they're that good. So they're doing a great job, and they've really, we worked very closely with them to, tweak the programming, always, learning, always improving, always looking for new ways we can add, change things and provide even better results for our clients. But at this point, that's one of the main systems that I would say, a lot of trainers need to think about getting into place is really thinking through, when you're working with your client, what's your process? What do you do when you work with the client? How do you write the program? How do you train the client? Is there dialogue that you say every training session? Is there, for example, one of the dialogues that we have is you want to let the client know right away what they're going to do that day. So every trainer in our gym, when they work with a client, they let the client know, hey, this is what we're going to do today. Then you let them know what they're doing while they're doing it. So, okay, now we're doing this, right? Maybe today we're going to do a new program. It's going to be, really geared on fat loss. So we're going to be doing, whatever they're doing. And then while they're doing it, and then when they finish the program, you let them know what they did. So what they're going to do, what they're doing, what they did. And then at the very end, as you're saying goodbye to them, do you need anything else from me? You're going to let them know next time, here's what I have planned. And so that way the client knows, okay, I know what to expect next time I come in. And so things like that just most trainers probably do, but don't even think about. Right. But if, you were going to bring a new trainer in, how would you get them to train a client as closely as possible to what you do, as quickly as possible so that you could step out and train for an Ironman if you want to, or, do what you want to do. Or, and a lot of people say, well, what if I want to keep training clients? Well, cool, keep training clients. Like, that's great. And I do like to take on a group of clients every once in a while for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, get them into their genes or, whether, whatever it is. Like, I do love being in the gym. I do love being around the clients. So I'm not saying that, you're getting to the point where you're completely disengaged from your gym, but just to have that freedom that you don't have to be there. You don't have to be there for the 5 a.m. client, So it is setting up those systems will, really build your business.
Okay, now you have a very successful business there, obviously, one of the top 10 facilities out there. But what is it that makes your facility different from most of the others?
At this point, I would say, I think it's, our program design and things like that are all great, and they're, we're definitely ahead in the industry. But beyond anything, it's our culture and our team. It's the culture among the team that work together. At this point, we have about 16 people working for us. And they're like glue. Like, they all just really work well together. It's like they all, they all get it, that we're all here to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. It's not about, we have core values in place, which one of our core values is to be we, not me. And that's one of the things that all of them live through. They live through our core values, and we really just all share that, I just had someone recently who's a client say to me, gosh, like, everybody who works here is just a really good person. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, because we look for people. One of the things as you are hiring people is to think about hiring for personality and hiring for attitude. And then you can train skill, and that's really what we've done. So at this point, we have just great people, who have great attitudes, great personalities, who are constantly learning, always improving. And at this point are the best trainers there are because we've trained that skill and gotten them to that point. And so I'd say it's our culture and our team. When you walk into our gym, that it's not, you have a whole team of people that are there for you, and it's same with the clients. The clients are all, they all share those same core values and all, really maintain that culture and that fun atmosphere. And, one of our other core values is to have fun and a sense of humor. And if you've met my husband, he's a very sarcastic guy. And that's something that if you don't have a sense of humor, you're probably not going to last long because you know what? That's part of who we are. That's part of what we do. And so just thinking through your core values and thinking through what you want to represent and really, what do you want to be the best at? I think a lot of trainers get caught up in doing too much. It's like, oh, I want to train athletes, and I'm going to train housewives, and I need to, talk to I need to do this, and that. And
Yeah.
like you're all over the place. And I think if you pick one and just get, focused on, I'm going to be the best at this. And it was actually Thomas Plummer gave me the advice of pick one thing and be the absolute best at it, and you'll never be short of income. Yeah. And when he said that to me, that's when I decided I was going to be the best at training females. And, I had already been training females for, 9 years. It was what I did, but at that point, I was like, I just got my focus, shifted to, what, I'm only going to read things about training females. I'm only going to go to seminars and look for those ideas that apply to females. I'm only going to write, and it's like you all of a sudden, now I get my book deal, and I get, my women's health column, and I get, things start to fall into place. So just figure out what you want to be the best at and go after that, and take Thomas Plummer's advice of, you'll never be short of income if you get that, pick one thing and be the best. So
right now, I know one of the other big things, along with the culture and everything else that you have, is you're very focused on customer service. Mm-hmm. What are you doing to wow your clients so that they keep coming back and just raving about your business?
We do a lot of different things. I mean, we always are looking for new ways to wow our clients, but really it starts with your team. It starts with, knowing that that's part of our culture. But I mean, it's not hard in our industry to wow people with customer service, because most gyms have customer service. Yeah. So unfortunately, if, most people are used to walking into a gym and the person is probably, a young kid who's on their cell phone or on Facebook and not even acknowledging them, let alone know what their name is, or even if they're a member. At our gym, you walk in and, the whole team is like, oh, hey, how's it going? Everybody knows your name. Everybody says hello. So names are huge. People love to hear their names. But not only that, we all know the person. We know, what they like. We know, about their family. We know about their pets. We know, and so it's not just that, hi, how are you? It's, hey, how, congratulations on your kid graduating. That's so awesome. And they're like, it's just stuff like that they feel like they're part of the family. So I think that's part of it. There's little things like we have all around the gym. We have note cards that we basically you handwrite a note card any chance you get that you have a conversation with a client, and maybe something special happened in that conversation, or maybe they just did their first push-up or whatever it is. We have already, stamps to get ready to go, everything ready to go. Just walk over, write a quick handwritten card, and stick it in the mail, and that client will get a mail a couple days, a letter in the mail like, hey, it was so great talking to you the other day. I'm so excited that you did your first push-up, or whatever it might be. And, nobody ever gets real mail anymore, especially a handwritten card. And it takes you a minute, Yep. And so things like that just let our clients know that we care about them, and that they're not just a number, that it really truly is a family. And I hear that a lot from our clients, they feel like they're part of the family. We recently did a 100 workout challenge, which is basically, it's the last half of the year. And so I actually wrote a letter handwritten to our clients, and then I had it photocopied so it looks like it's still handwritten, like they got a handwritten letter in the mail. We mailed it out, and it basically said we're doing a 100 workout challenge, who's in? And so they got little punch cards to come in and try to, punch off 100 workouts before the end of the year. Now, we didn't charge them anything. Is this going to equal more money? I mean, yeah, there is the ulterior motive that, if they're coming in more often, they're getting better results, they're buying shakes, they're coming, it's going to increase our income. But at the same time, really, we know that if that's part of the business model, but to them, they just see that, wow, they want me to come in more often. And so one of the clients came up to me and she goes, of all the gyms that I've been a member of, probably 10 to 15 over my lifetime, most of them hoped you didn't show up. She goes, they hope you pay and they hope that you don't show up. She goes, I've had to cancel bank accounts because, gyms have even shut down on me and still kept billing my card. Mm-hmm. And she goes, this is the first gym where, where you actually are encouraging us to come in more often, and you want us to come in. And, that's part of it, is just, we want them to be there. There's no part in our business plan that says, because people have asked me, oh, well, don't you account for the people who pay and don't use your services? And no, I don't. I don't put that in our business plan, because I don't want that. I want, I want to plan on everybody coming in as often as possible, and that we do need to service them, and we need to be ready to do that. So, yeah, it's really just, you're right. It's customer service. It's the culture. It's, all of that, which I think the customer service is part of our culture.
Right. Okay, now you've been at it. You've had this gym, you said, now just over 11 years. You're at the point where you're helping other fitness professionals build their businesses. At what point was it where you realized with Alwyn, maybe we could be helping other people do the same thing with their businesses?
Yeah, it was really just a response to a demand. We had a lot of people calling, wanting to come to the gym. Hey, can I come by and just, follow you around for the day, or, see how you run your business? And, it was kind of like, well, no, like we're busy, we're running a gym, or we're doing what we need to do. And so we started to think, you know what, we need to probably formalize this, because we're getting enough phone calls and enough requests that people want to come and see how we run our business. And so we set up our first mentorship, which was basically, we had about 10 people at that first mentorship. And it was really just the ins and outs of our business. We put together a manual of really all of our systems, everything that we do at Results Fitness. And at that point, you're right, we didn't know how much we knew. It was kind of like, okay, well, we'll get these 10 people here, and, we'll see how this goes, and we'll go from there, and they all came, and we realized with the questions they were asking how far we had come, and a lot of times you don't realize how far you've come until you start to teach it.
Right.
And yeah, over 11 years, we had come a long way, and we had a lot to teach. And so, at the end of the first mentorship, they were all looking at us like, well, we don't leave us, we need more. And so that's when we started our coaching group, which is basically ongoing. We have a group of trainers that we work with, that we coach. And so at this point, that is really full-time. What Alwyn and I do is, our number one priority is our coaching group, who we have a membership website set up that we're in there every day with them, answering all their questions, making sure they're taken care of, doing phone calls with them. We have 2 mastermind meetings a year. And so at this point, we do have, we're full. Our coaching group is full, because Alwyn and I do design our lifestyle, and we don't want to be working all the time. And so, at this point, we actually just had our last mentorship last week, which had about 40 people in it. So it's grown, like we've done about 3 a year for the past 4 years. And each year they've been growing and growing and growing. And so this past one was the biggest one. And at this point, we don't have anything else on our schedule. This upcoming weekend, we're going to be in Rhode Island. So I don't know when this is airing, but if anybody's coming out to Rhode Island, that is our last scheduled business event at this point. So, we'll kind of take a look, think through what we want to do next. But it's been exciting, and it's been a lot of fun. It's really, really rewarding and fun for us to help trainers who are where we were, and really guide them through the process of what we've been through, and really help them not to make those same mistakes that we've made. And it's funny, because it's like you said, you don't realize it, but at this point, because we've been through it and we are on the other side, it is easy for us. When we do look at their situation, it's like, well, no, you need to do this. Like, I can see that, which is so cool to be able to be those eyes that are looking in at, someone else's business, and helping them to not make those mistakes, and to really fast track, their success, so that they can create. I mean, we just got a postcard from one of our coaching members that they just took a vacation and were able to just leave for the week, and their business was running, and they, they still got to make the money, and things like that are just so rewarding. So it definitely is a lot of fun, and we're really enjoying it.
Now, since you've been doing this coaching, the mentoring, for quite a while, what's the biggest issue that you constantly come across from all your clients?
From the trainers?
On the business side, yeah.
On the business side of it?
Yeah.
I would say it's probably like we talked about, getting that focus of, who are you and what do you want to be the best at? Okay. I think, a lot of them are, it's focus, focus, I would say, is the hardest thing for most of us. I think you don't know where you're going. You've never sat back and thought about what do you want in your life. I tell a story of basically, if I gave you directions to go somewhere, and I told you, you're going to go out the door, and you're going to turn right, and you're going to turn right again, and and then you're going to see the sign. Maybe I'm telling you how to get to my gym, and you're going to see the sign. It says Results Fitness, and you're going to cross the street, and it's right there on the left-hand side. And if you head out your door and you have your head down and you're looking at each footstep, instead of picking your head up and watching where you're going, and you're just watching each footstep. Okay, 1 footstep, 2 footsteps. You're probably going to run into a wall. You're probably going to take a wrong turn. You're probably going to veer off in the wrong direction. And until you actually pick your head up and go, oh, there's the sign she's talking about, or oh, there's the turn she's talking about. And that's the biggest thing, is helping them to pick their head up, because most of them don't know where they're going. It's like they don't know that they're going to Results Fitness. So that's our first question, is where are we going? Can't help you to get there if you don't know where you're going. And so really, what is your ideal day? What is your ideal life? Like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want where do you want your business to be? Where do you want your schedule? Do you want, like, some people, it's, they hate mornings. They don't want to get up in the morning anymore. They hate their alarm clock. I mean, that's a common one for trainers. It's like, I want to smash my alarm clock.
Right.
And so it's, those kinds of things that once we get that focus now, because most people are just stuck in their day looking at each footstep. They train a client, train a client, train a client. They're just looking footstep after footstep. And so it gets discouraging because you don't know where you're going and you're not picking your head up and going, okay, is my business getting closer to where I want it to be? Am I starting to see, that it's coming, the vision that I want it to create is happening. And because you don't know where it is, you don't know where you're going. And so that would be the main thing I would say, is just helping them to get focus, figure out what they want, and then, guiding them to the fastest path, so they don't end up taking the windy road to get there. Right. And so, yeah, I would say that's definitely its focus.
Okay, we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. I just want to dive into the side of things as your view as being a female fitness entrepreneur in the industry. We have a couple questions on that. And since you've been in the industry for some time now, I guess in your opinion, how have things changed for the better for women in the industry?
Well, I think we're, more and more women are getting into the industry, which is great. I love seeing, for so long I've been going to seminars and I'm one of the very few women in the audience, or conferences, and it's, but still, even now, you still go to conferences and it's still majority is men. Mm-hmm. I think for women, I don't think things have changed. I think it's more women are starting to realize, that there is an opportunity, I hope. They really need more women in the industry. The majority of our clients are females. Most men train females. Even though they want to train athletes, they're training housewives. Like, that's who we're training. That's who needs us. And so, women have a lot to offer this industry. And I think, as they start to build confidence and start to, really, take themselves seriously as in this industry, I think, maybe a lot of them end up, going, I think, the aerobics route or the yoga route or the Pilates route. And maybe, they're at different conferences, but as far as like the strength and conditioning, and as women are getting more and more into strength training and starting to realize that it is the way to change your body, I think, you're starting to see more and more women at industry events like Perform Better and, some of the, the more, I guess, strength training side of it, functional training side of it. We're seeing more and more women. And so I think it's just, I don't know that things have changed in the industry, but more that hopefully women are starting to change and starting to take that opportunity and start to offer what they have to offer, which can complement what all the men are offering. But it's completely different, and I think that there's room for women in this industry for sure.
Do you think that women may have an advantage over men, especially in terms of personal training, since most of the clients are women?
Yeah, there are definitely advantages. I think men, we currently have mostly male trainers at our gym. So there is something that men can offer, as far as when a man trains a female, there's that emotional side of it doesn't get into it because that's one of the problems is there's, when a female's training a female, now you got to, not to say that we're emotional, but we are tuned into our emotions a little bit more. Right. And so, there's that side of it that if I have a female client start training as a female, like I might get caught up in that emotion, where a male is more likely to be like, all right, let's get going, like let's train. So there are certain things that men are very good at, but I think then there's the side of, what females do have to offer this industry. So I'd say there's advantages, but you could kind of find advantages from either side. I just think it doesn't have to be either or. I think a lot of, whether, a lot of people in our industry, maybe a lot of couples in our industry, maybe there's the male and the female, and the male may feel threatened by the female as she's, building her business. And that's one of the things that I would say Alan never, always encouraged me, always supported me, and never, had that, he was never threatened. There was never that ego. Right. And I think in our industry, that's part of the problem is there is that ego thing going on. And so, for females, we tend to back down, and I think instead, if men start to help women to really offer what they do have to offer, I think both, men and women will actually be able to take this industry to a whole nother level, because as you are surrounded with more really good female trainers, as a male trainer, you have a lot to offer, but now you can say, hey, well, you know what, let's talk to, Jessica over here and talk to her and see what she says about this. Cause now you have, that partnership. So I think it's more just, they have different things to offer.
Okay. Well, Rachel, this has been a fascinating time. You revealed a lot of great information. I want more people to know more about you and the business and everything that's going on. So where can people find that information?
Great. Thank you. It's RachelCosgrove.com. I have my own website set up where I have a blog. But then we also have a brand new website, ResultsFitnessUniversity.com, where we are going to be putting all of our resources as far as our mentorships and our business coaching, and also our program design team are putting on seminars, and they just came out with a new program design manual. So that's going to be available on Results Fitness University and .com. And then our gym website is results-fitness.com. So, and then definitely friend me on Facebook or fan me. I'm getting close to being full on my friend page, but you can come on over, because I am pretty good about keeping that updated. So, get on my newsletter on my website, and definitely, be my friend on Facebook.
All right. Well, Rachel, thank you again. I appreciate all the time and the information. I wish you the best of luck with everything in the future.
Thanks so much, Eric.